Finally now, after 6,000 years, you know, in that creation week, there were 7 days. The first 6 days, God gave to man to go about his own routines, his own business, his own work, and so forth. But he said, the 7th day is mine. The 7th day Sabbath. It was a day set aside, commanded for time, for all time, that people would come before him and learn from him, be taught about why we're here on this earth and what he's doing, and our relationship with him. That we haven't believed as a people on this earth. Religions that don't get along. Who's right? I don't care what religion you look at. Sunni and Shia, they don't get along. They don't believe the same. If you look at Judaism, the far right, the far left, many different ideas, especially even things about the one theme that runs throughout the Bible, the Messiah. And they have all kinds of ideas and beliefs about a Messiah. Traditional Christianity, thousands. No wonder people are so skeptical out here. Thousands of religions and ideas. Confusion. And so we are at a time, the end time. The next great thing to happen, it's going to take place, is in important cities. In some important cities of the United States, there will be nuclear weapons that go off. That will be the time for you to bring back into your memory, into your mind, the things that you're finding very hard to believe here today. That's called the second trumpet of the seventh seal. It's already been opened. The first trumpet is about a beginning demise of the United States and the economy of the United States. And you in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, Western Europe, most of the world, frankly, in great ways are tied into the greenback, the dollar. And right now there are great hopes that we can keep printing and we're going to get ourselves out of this and help the rest of the world get out of it as well. Not this time. This is the end. God is going to let it happen. He's not doing it to us. We are doing it to ourselves. And if God didn't intervene, when it's all said and done, we would destroy ourselves. That's the time we live in right now. And so we're seeing a decline in the way the world views the dollar. And that's a part of this prophecy that's taking place right now. It's going to continue to happen. And nothing anyone can do can stop it. In the stock market, one day it's going to crash, finally. Already told that a long time ago, and we've started to experience those things already for some time. But people don't believe. And so God's going to let us go through different phases here. And in the United States is prophesied to be the first great nation to fall because God made the United States who it is. As I heard the song here today, "Oh Canada," I had to look down to the floor because I believe with all my being, I know what's going to come to pass. And I know the outcome of Canada. And it hurts. It hurts. And I hope that some of the things that transpire from here today, maybe more in Canada, are going to be saved as a part of this process. Because it depends on people and how they respond to what God tells them. And so there's coming a time very rapidly here when we come up to a time that's referred to as the fifth trumpet. In Europe, it's prophesied for the seventh time to have a great revival called the Holy Roman Empire. The sixth was during the time of Mussolini and Hitler. The seventh is quickly coming. Same countries as a whole, a lot of same ones involved again. Germany. Oh, I wish I had more time. There's so much to tell you about who we are and why this is so important. I want to take you back a little bit. I was thinking about a time as I was traveling down between Seattle and Vancouver and crossing the border. An interesting sign there. And I don't remember the exact words, but I remember the gist of it. And it says, "We're brothers." We don't know how much we are brothers. Because God is going to use the same nation, Germany, who are the ancient Assyrians, to do again what they did before. There are going to be 10 nations that are prophesied to rise out of Europe who are going to be given great power once again. One last time on the earth. And they're going to do it because they're going to see the demise of the United States, a vacuum that takes place. And they're going to do it for different reasons than what Hitler did, because they feel that they have to do this in order to stop, if you will, a great breakdown in all of things taking place throughout Europe. And so they're prophesied to rise once again here and do the things that they're going to do and start World War III. They do it again. Because going back in time, people don't understand. When they think of Israel, they think of the Jewish people who are in Israel. And that's not all of Israel. In the Bible, that's not who Israel was. The first time you read in the Bible about Israel and the Jews, it says Israel was at war with the Jews. How is that possible? Because there were 10 nations in the north who were known as Israel, and Judah was in the south. And because of their disobedience to God, Israel was taken captive by the Assyrians in the 700s BC. They were taken up into Europe, and they lost their identity. They were never known as Israel again. God said that punishment was up on them because they changed the holy days to holidays. They changed the Sabbath to a worship on the day of Baal, the sun god, Sunday. Sounds familiar? And so they lost their identity. They were taken up into Europe. And the way the Assyrians did it, they brought another people into that area of Israel called the Samaritans, Samaria. And Judah, a little over 200 years later, was taken captive. But they were able to keep their identity. And the Jewish people have always been known as the Jewish people, because they polluted the Sabbath and they polluted the holy days, but they kept them. And so God said they wouldn't lose their identity. So they had to go into captivity for 70 years, and God brought them back. The thing that people don't understand is that those people, Israel, that went into Europe, they migrated to places like Great Britain, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, the United States. The United States is the tribe of Manasseh. Great Britain and her commonwealth of nations that God said he has at the end time is Canada, New Zealand, Australia, and the UK. We are brothers. That's why when you read things in prophecy, it tells exactly what's going to happen and who it's going to happen to. And we are the first to fall. The United States, Canada, Western Europe, because those same tribes are throughout Switzerland, France. France is Reuben. All the way up through Belgium, the Netherlands, into Denmark, Norway, Sweden. Humorous to some. It's true. You don't know who you are as far as the peoples. And so God is telling what's going to happen at this end time. What happens after that? After a third world war begins, China and Russia and the Far East, it says they have a year and a month and a day that they prepare to confront them. And they begin to take their pieces in the world, in South America and Africa and other places. Just like they're doing today with the dollar. They're getting rid of the dollar as fast as they can. They're buying commodities throughout the world quickly because they know what's happening. And they engage Europe. And it says that they are going to destroy a third of all human life, all life on the earth. And that brings us up to the time of Armageddon, a few months later down the road. There is so much they've already done as far as nuclear war is concerned, as far as a confrontation in different parts of the world is concerned, and so many people have been destroyed, that at this point in time, what takes place at the very end is that God knows exactly the timing that's going to take. And those nations, rather than engaging in more nuclear war, because if they do, they know a great truth. We will annihilate ourselves. And God lets us come right to the brink on the very day that's called Armageddon to destroy ourselves. He intervenes on that last day because they come together in an area called Megiddo to do battle, to do war, head to head, not with nuclear weapons. And that's why all those millions and millions of people are gathered there together at that particular time, and the time that's called Armageddon. But it's on that day that God intervenes. Thank God. And he destroys all the armies that are there from Europe, all the armies from Asia, and so forth, and also their governments and their countries. He said he's going to destroy those who are destroying the earth. And then finally, the good news. The one who is called Messiah. The one who is called the Christ. The one who came 2,000 years ago as a lamb to die as a Passover for everyone, so our sins can be forgiven, is the one who comes back this time, it says, as a lion, not as a lamb, and he takes control. And he is the one in charge, the head of that great army that destroys all those that have come together in the ghetto. Time is up.
Seems an appropriate way to end your message.
Okay.
Time is up. Thanks very much, Ronald.